Hi everybody and welcome back to K-Tapes. This week we have about 30 tapes that I actually want to show you, and the good thing is among those 30 tapes I would say there's probably about 25 or so that I've never showed you before. So yeah, we have about like roughly 5, 6, perhaps even 7 that you've seen before. But they might be different versions and things like that. So anyway, let's get to it because it will take some time. And actually yesterday I did film this video, but my phone ran out of battery, so it didn't save the video. So I have to do it all over again, and it's not fun. Anyway, so let's get started with the first movie. So we have right here is Blood Chase, and this is a Teddy Page film. And as you know, the Teddy Page films are quite, should I say, in demand, but they have a cult following, so to put it this way. And this one, I've never found it before. This is the very first time I do find this tape. So I'm trying to find those Teddy Page films a bit more nowadays because I'm a bit more aware of what they are, what the covers look like, and so on. So of course we have Phantom Soldier that I showed you in the past, but and Crime Stopper also. But there's like very few ones that I've been able to find in Korea, and I was super happy to find this one because this is I think like a fairly rare one. It's in top shape, I mean, except some sun fade on the spine, but considering when this came out, which was 1990, it's not too shabby. I mean, it's a good piece. It's a nice copy, to say the least, and it comes in its original clamshell right here. And let me just show you the tape very quickly, as you see. And by the way, sometimes you may notice in my channel that I didn't post stuff for, let's say, 1 month or so. It's not because, of course, like I ran out of stuff to show you. Well, sometimes it is, but most likely these days it's mainly because I am taking so much time to clean those tapes that it may take me up a few weeks. So that's why I do not post anything. And also for everything I'm showing you today, they're all tapes that I got mostly online. There's barely anything here I found in Seoul. So I would love to find things in Seoul whenever I go there, get a good price, but it's not the case. So all these tapes here, all from online sellers, and I did have to pay a bit more, but they have, I mean, the sellers, they had like really good stuff that I couldn't pass, so that's why I can show you like really cool stuff today. All right, the next one is also a Teddy Page film. It's called Angel in the Dark. It's one that I've never seen before as well. I mean, the film and the videotape, both. So let's look at this. I love those screenshots there. It's really cool. So this movie is, this videotape is 1993. So I believe it's an early 90s movie, maybe 91, 92 or something. So yeah, there you go, Angel in the Dark by Teddy Page. Again, it is the original clamshell RGB, which actually is hard to find those clamshells. So I was really happy that it came in the right box. Tape is clean, same as the previous one. So we have 2 Teddy Page films for today, which is super cool. Okay, oh, and by the way, there's no order in which I'm showing you those tapes today. Again, don't you know, scroll at the end of the video looking for the cool stuff. It's all mixed up. Okay, next, speaking of cool stuff, we have Killbots. And as you can see, we have the title right here at the top in English, Killbots. But this movie goes by the name of Chopping Mall. I believe in North America, at least that was the title in Canada, for what I remember. In the States, probably the same. So Killbots, yes, Chopping Mall on VHS in South Korea. The cover is so cool. And this is a, I was going to say DNS, but this is a Oasis or Oasis label release. And by the way, this copy is absolutely beautiful. There's no sun fade whatsoever. Oh, by the way, here you go. I keep saying, it's Vestron. So you do have the Vestron Video International logo on the spine, which kind of I always forget to mention or show you in like detail like this. So here you can see. So yeah, Chopping Mall, very hard to find. And this one, to be honest, I had to fight with one or two other people who wanted it, Korean collectors. So this one is kind of in demand in Korea, and I did have to pay more for it as well. So yeah, some people might say, yeah, it's not like a super in demand tape, or it's not really pricey, but in Korea it is in demand, and it is slightly pricier than my usual tape, and yeah, it's really hard to find. I did find one copy before, so this is my second one, but the previous one I had in the past had mold, so I had to throw it away, and I did keep the sleeve, although both sleeves are both near mint, which is super amazing and surprising. And one more thing I want to point out is right here at the bottom, middle bottom of the back, is you have some writing right here, like handwritten thing. Well, what it says here, it's a review number. So this is a review number. I don't know who was in charge of writing that up. Perhaps the store, perhaps the rating board, I assume. So they would write a small number there. And the reason I got to believe that this is not like just some scribble that was written on the cover. My other cover also has this, and they weren't from the same video store, or the same shop. So this was written at the time when the film was released, the videotape was released. So it's not just some damaged cover or whatever, just scribbling. So there you have it. I was gonna say Killbots. Well, Killbots or Chopping Mall. Okay, next one is something I've showed you in the past. Okay, I think I have to go again and explain what this is for you guys who's like the first time watching this video or my videos. But this is not Evil Dead 2. I know it is the cover of Evil Dead 2. It says Dawn into Fear, but this is actually Dawn of the Dead. So yeah, the George A. Romero film, Dawn of the Dead, the zombie film. So do not get confused, because that's something that happens a lot with South Korean tapes, is they will mishmash the cover arts. They'll take something from another movie, slam it on the cover, or even on the back, as you can see right here. So it's really hard to tell like which movie this is exactly. Even the screenshots right here are probably not probably, but they're not from Dawn of the Dead, obviously. So it's really hard to point out, what movie it is. Actually, this one is from Dawn of the Dead, I think. Yeah, that was the parking lot. Or maybe not. Anyway, you can tell me in the comments if you do remember those, if you've seen those screenshots somewhere. But anyway, this is Dawn of the Dead. I watch it, I know it is. And what's amazing about this copy is, as you can see, it's absolutely beautiful. No sun fade whatsoever. And it's the first copy that I found that is perfectly non-sun faded and in top shape, because I did find one in the past that had no sun fade, but right here at the bottom it had like at least an inch like rip right here, which was so heartbreaking. But this copy is the only one I have or ever had that is mint. And same goes for the cassette inside, of course. Okay. Next, we have A Time for Dying. So this is a Filipino action film from the 70s. I think it's even the early 70s, 72 or something like that, by Luis Nepomuceno. Maybe it's not the proper pronunciation, but anyway, that's what's written right here. And I do think this is the right name, because I did check it before. It's not in super top shape, because this had some mold on the sleeve. As you can see, it's kind of, like little corners like this that like missing like a tidbit. Same thing here with a bit of damage here, and the same thing in the top corner. But otherwise, yeah, I was able to clean everything really well. There's no mold inside or whatnot, and the same thing goes for the tape. It's really clean, and it is the original SAM1 clamshell as well, which is always really fun to have. As for the sun fade, well, it does have some sun fade, but it doesn't look too bad. And this is a 1987 tape, so for its age, it's kind of expected nowadays, I would say. I mean, with the stuff you find online and tapes you buy here and there, even in Seoul. But this one has been cleaned up, so it's cool. Okay, let's move on because we still have a lot to do. To check. So this one is Schizoid, and this was really hard to get, and I did have to pay a bit more for this one as well because this is super rare in South Korea now. This is a movie with Klaus Kinski. I've never seen it. I think it's early 80s, like 1980, 1979, around this time. As you can see, the spine is also pretty decent. It's not unfaded, but it's really good looking. And here you have the back. Also really unique with that door and the hand and the blood. I love it. I love this kind of artwork. It's really appealing. Okay, and the tape is also super clean. I'm not going to show you, but yeah, it is clean. Next, our good friend DNS. Yes, this tape is not. I mean, this tape is in top shape, but I mean the spine isn't because it has really bad sun fade. Because if you can see the back. Yeah, it lost all its orange. But this is hard to find, so I bought it anyway. And the cover art is really beautiful, and it's a DNS. So these things together, I mean, for me, it's hard to pass unless the price is really not good. But the price was fine for this, so I picked it up. So yeah, Tiger Joe with David Warbeck. I think it's like late 80s action film, Italian action film, probably filmed in the Philippines. So yeah, there you have it. A couple of screenshots on the back. So let me just show you that. And this was released on tape in 1988. So as you can see, yeah, the post-1990s tapes are not always in great shape. And if you do find anything before 1980 nowadays in top shape, no sun fade, it's wow. All right, let me just say that. Okay, next we have another Italian film. Yeah, I know you're gonna say this is not an Italian film. This is Sleepaway Camp 2 or even 3. You're right. This is the cover. Just like we just had before with Dawn of the Dead, which is the cover of Army of Darkness, of Evil Dead 2. But this time it's Sleepaway Camp. But no, the movie is actually The Murderer is Still With Us. So this is the original title. It's correct. And it's an Italian film from the mid-80s, I think. Somehow giallo-esque film. Anyway, horror thriller from Italy. Another great thing about this tape, of course, is the spine is beautiful. No sun fade whatsoever, or if there's any sun fade, is very, very, very minimal. And it would be affecting, I guess, the yellow part here, because the yellow is bright and yellow on the front cover, and right here is a bit faded, but everything else is gorgeous. So of course, if you're a collector, this is a beautiful piece. And let me show you on the back. Really nice tape right here. And let me show you the tape as well. So the tape is in top shape. And another really nice thing, original clamshell. So see the logo right here with that bird, it's the same. So that's always a pleasure to find this in complete. Okay, next we have Ultra Warrior. I showed you this one in the past, and I did sell it, so that's why when I found another copy, I just jumped on it, because it was in fairly good shape. This is a Peruvian action film, and it is something like a Mad Max film. Again, the screenshots are probably not from this film, or maybe they are because I've never seen it. But yeah, it is that kind of film. It is a at least they put like stuff that do match the film. So here you have it, Ultra Warrior. Like I said, I showed it to you, so I'm not gonna spend too much time talking about it. But yeah, and the tape is in great shape as well. Okay, next we do have another Oasis film release. So of course Vestron. This one is the Changeling. I did have this once a long time ago. Sold it to a collector, and this is only my second copy. It's really hard to find, by the way. You won't find this easily in South Korea, and this copy is pretty neat. It's not like mint. I mean by that, no sun fade. It does have like a slight amount of sun fade on the spine, although it's hard to tell because it does look very good. That's why. And of course, if I show you the cassette inside, also very clean. So there you have it, the Changeling. Next, another one I showed you in the past is Sorority House Massacre. So I had this before. The only thing with this copy is that it is absolutely near mint. And by near mint, I mean, look at this. There's absolutely no sun fade. Everything is super sharp, super clean. The cover has like really sharp corners. Nothing to say bad about this copy whatsoever. So yeah, and this was released in 1988. I mean, the cassette was 1988. So I mean, this if you're a collector and you want something old in top shape, you won't get any better than this copy right here of Sorority House Massacre. Okay, let's move on. Okay, we're halfway done. So right now we have Infernal Thunderbolt, which is a IFD production, I believe, with Richard Harrison. So Richard Harrison having some good time right here. And the good thing about this tape is, of course, it's an horizontal cover, which are a bit rare. I mean, I don't know if there's another version for this release. I mean, another release without the horizontal cover. I'm just saying that in general, the horizontal covers in South Korea are kind of a novelty, so it's really cool to have that. I know the tape is not, I mean, the movie itself isn't really rare because you can find some DVDs in Germany, things like that, and it's been released pretty much everywhere, but the South Korean release is fairly hard to find, so that's why I went on and bought it. And there you have some screenshots on the back. Of course, it's not in super top shape, as you see. You have like some stains here and there, but yeah, with a white cover like this on the back, it's, or anything white for that matter, it's easy to spot. So if you have like a color cover, probably you would never see it, but otherwise it's in good shape. And by that, of course, the videotape is top. And surprisingly, maybe I never mentioned this, but this is on the Yuho label. And it's been a while since I showed you erotica tapes, Korean erotic tapes. But Yuho was kind of like the Playboy of South Korea. So all their releases, or like 90% of their releases, were erotic films. And they also imported some erotic films to release on their label. But they do have like some oddball releases, such as this one, which is on the Yuho label. Okay, next, again with our boy Richard Harrison, we have the wonderful Scorpion Thunderbolt. And this is such a beauty because this tape is mad rare in Korea. I think I've seen it once. It was in horrible shape, so of course I didn't buy it, but this one is in really great shape. Does have some sun fade, sorry. But nothing too alarming, and of course the back is also really beautiful. No water stain, nothing. So this is such a huge plus. And this tape is also 1988, so quite old. Let me just show you a bit closer. right here. This is great. I was so happy to get this one, and I had to bid a bit more, like to get this one, because there was someone else who wanted it as well, so I had to pay a bit more, but really happy I got it. I know this was also, of course, released in Japan. They have like a similar cover art, although to be fair, the Korean one is way better. It's way more in your face. So yeah, if you're a collector, this is something to get for sure. So here we have it, super clean tape as well, of course. Okay, now we have right here the Velvet Vampire, which is obviously a horror drama film from I think the early 70s, and it was directed by a woman, which makes it even more unique. I think it was directed by a woman, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, like Stephanie Rotman. The only thing with this tape, by the way, other than it's super near mint, and it's the same label, by the way, as the Sorority House Massacre, as you can see right here. It's just the problem is when I bought this, the seller, who's kind of a bit the guy is a bit careless when he sells tapes in Korea. He would just like post stuff. You have no photos of the tape. You just have the cover art. You have no photo of the cassette. He doesn't give you any information about the cassette. You cannot even ask. It's just like take it or leave it. So basically they're blind buys. So whatever you pay for it, if it's high, if it's not high, too bad. You're stuck with what you get. And I did get a bunch of tapes from that seller, which were in horrible shape that I had to throw away right when I got them. This one, I mean, the cassette was in top shape. As you can see, everything was great, except the sleeve was sticking out of the plastic. Actually, it was like that on the photo, and when he sent it to me, it was still like that when I received it. So I have to, you know, tuck it back in. And of course, yeah, it has damage, but that was done overtime, not because of shipping or anything. So you see here, so that's the only thing. And of course here it was all curved, but I placed it back nicely and it doesn't show at all. So it does look good right now. But anyway, it really pissed me off. But anyway, I was aware of it at least when I bought it. I knew this was sticking out. I took a chance. I was like, oh, it does look good. It may be okay. And the tape was fine. So yeah, I was really lucky for that. So there you go. And this is, by the way, a tape that was released in 1987. So not young by any means. So Velvet Vampire. Running out of space here. Okay, next. Oh, this is by the way, this is the kind of tape I would have put at the end of the video, but screw this. I'm gonna put it right in the middle to tip you off. So we have the Nail Gun Massacre. I did show you this before, but it wasn't this cover art. And I'm sorry, but this cover art blows the other one out of the water. Like it's not even a joke. It's so beautiful. And let me show you something even more cool right here, if I can just focus. You see the title has this like foil finish. I remember some comic books back in the 90s had that. Well, this VHS has this, even for the nail. And if we turn around and we check on the spine, the same thing goes for the spine. It has this really cool foil lettering font, which is, I mean, this is amazing. And with also equally cool spine picture. So I really love this copy. It's, I mean, wow. And look at the back. This is like, I mean, when you find Korean tapes and I do find things like this, I'm so happy you have no idea. Because once again, this is a tape, I only had a photo of the cover. So judging by the cover, I was like, okay, it does look in good shape, but I didn't know this was on the back. So my surprise was like, wow. Although there was only one thing with this tape. Once again, remember when I said that sometimes when you have some water damage on a tape, especially like if it had mold or something, it may happen that the paper will just fall apart like powder because it's too old and it dried out and Anyway, this happened a little bit on this one. I cleaned it as best as I could, but thankfully it was only at the very bottom right here, and it doesn't show too much. And I put it back in the sleeve, and the damaged part was kind of like just like a little corner like here, and you can see like a bit of black, but yeah, it was only like barely at the edge. Same thing on the front, like here on the corner, but it is not too bad. And if you look at the overall condition, it's really good. So of course, I mean, I could knock off a bit of the price because of that, and I probably will, but it's still a hugely like amazing tape to have in a collection. I mean, this, and it still looks extremely good. And this is rare, by the way. It's the first time I ever find this. Let me just show you the cassette, which is also top shape. I had to clean it, but it was in great shape. Playback is good. All right, so Nail Gun Massacre. Okay, the next one we have is called Una, My Love. Of course, nothing to do with horror films here. It's kind of like a drama, erotica. It is from a Eastern Europe country, which I forgot the name. I should have checked before I made the video. I did forget when I did make this video yesterday as well. Oh my god, ex-Yugoslavia, anyway, around there. So I'm sorry for people who are from that country, but yeah, even from the names I'm sure you can figure it out. So if you want to look up the film, so yeah, it is a rare film, and it's an even more rare tape in South Korea, because films from that countries are kind of hard to get because there's not that many. And also, I've seen this tape before selling online in South Korea for about $100. So when I did find this one, which I saw also like in top shape, like barely no sun fade at all, I thought to myself, well, I'll just take it. And the price was fair, so it was worth a grab, and it's again from 1987 release. Okay. All right, let's go back into horror with Until Death from Lamberto Bava. This is another tape I did see in the past, but the copy was moldy or had something, so I didn't pick it up. This one has some sun fade, of course. It's expected at this point, but it's in generally good shape for what it is, and of course for the year 1988, 1989. So yeah, Lamberto Bava film, it's hard to pass. Top shape as well, and matching clamshell with the Sambu. So, okay. Next we have the Nesting. I've never seen this film. I think it's probably okay, but the cover art, I mean, you see this and you're like, holy shit, I need this in my collection, or I need to pick it up. So we have a SKC label. It's not unfaded. Of course, this is all blue, should be green. So it's kind of like your average South Korean sun fade, should I say, which is not horrible, but it's not great. The back is okay-ish. Does have like a couple of stains here, but it's clean. I assure you, I cleaned everything up. So yeah, here you go. The Nesting. Oh yeah, I remember this was the cover art of the North American release, if I remember correctly. Well, this is cool too, but I mean, this is also absolutely great. Okay, so let's move to the next one. We have a South Korean kids film. So I know some Koreans will probably kill to get this. I mean, maybe not, but it's quite rare, and this copy is even more rare only for the fact that the spine on this is mint. There's no sun fade. The blue is blue, the red is red. It's bright red, just the exact same red as the cover here. Same for the blue. I mean, this is unfaded. It's pretty much near me. I mean, the box is old. You can tell, you know, it has some, you know, it's been used. But the sleeve itself is near mint. The tape is clean as well. I did check. The playback is perfect. or near perfect. And yeah, so yeah, like the thing with those movies, again, many of you want them, though some of those old Korean kids films, they used to be fairly easy to get at a decent price, but in the recent years the prices for those went up like crazy, and also the demand, obviously. So whenever I see something, I do have to fight with like Korean collectors that do want this for like obviously nostalgia factor. So it's getting way harder for me to get my hands on like those like weird like Korean kids costume stuff films, even though I really want them. So I was really happy to get this one. And let me show you inside. You have the Seokyeong, of course, original clamshell. The tape is clean, and as I said, I did check, and the playback is great as well. Okay. Next, we have Commander Lawin, something I've seen in the past as well, maybe once or twice online for sale. The copies were horrible, so I didn't buy it, but this time around the copy was really clean, really nice. Same thing, I mean, a bit of sun fade, but fairly okay. Highly collectible, and yeah, I bought it. So, action movie made in the Philippines, and is also Filipino director. So there you go, super cool cover, lots of action. I mean, yeah. So this is gonna go up for sale as the rest. Okay. All right, next is something also I had to fight to get, simply because some Koreans, I don't know, they also wanted it for some reason, so I had to put up a fight to get this, so I had to pay more, but it's the Cross of 7 Jewels. It's kind of a rare Italian mid-80s giallo horror thriller, I think, or maybe even late 80s, I think it's 87. Hard to find, of course, and it's on the DNS label, and this one I believe has no sun fade. I did check like every spot that I could suspect, but no, there's no sun fade. And you may think also, you know, by the picture on the spine right here, if I can focus, oh, this looks like sun faded and this part maybe not, but no, because if you look on the back, you have the exact same photo and it's the exact same picture quality. Let me focus, I'm sorry. Okay, so the Cross of 7 Jewels. So here you have the back of the cover, really cool. DNS, and of course, once again, the DNS clamshell, matching clamshell with perfect tape. Okay, well, we got a couple more to go, maybe 5 or 6, and we're done. So the next one is Kung Fu Zombie. This is another tape I did buy a long time ago. By that I mean maybe almost 8 years ago, or if not more. I did sell it at the time, I couldn't care less. But now I was like super happy to find another copy, because this is kind of rare now. And if I do remember, although when I'm gonna sell it, I'm gonna put up the information, but I do think this is in Mandarin, because usually this film, whenever it pops up, or if you look online, like YouTube, it's always like an English dub. So it may very well be in Mandarin, and like I said, I'm gonna double check. Perhaps there's even English subtitles, although I doubt it, but I'll check. And this was released, this is a bit older. This was released in 1985, so this is really, really old. So for that age, if you look at the quality, of course, has like a bit of like a stain here. But again, this is, like I said over and over today, this is your usual South Korean kind of quality for a tape when you find in the wild, so or anywhere else. But it's decent, and the tape is clean, so that's the most important part. Okay, next, speaking of tapes that I was a bit sad that it was not in top shape, is Naked Massacre. Just a bit of background about this movie. It was directed by Denis Héroux, which is a Canadian director, or more specifically a Quebec, so French-Canadian director. He made the two of the first Quebec or Canadian sexploitation films, one of which is called L'Initiation, which means the initiation, and the other one is called Valérie, just like the name, Valérie. So those were the two first sexploitations in Quebec, and I believe also in Canada. And he made this a bit later on, which is called Naked Massacre, but also goes by the name of Born for Hell. So you may know it by this name instead. And of course, the French name for it is Né pour l'Enfer, which means Born for Hell. So horror film, thriller. What I was really upset about, of course, is right here and right here. As you can see, it caught some bad like mold. Well, that's some mold. Let's put it this way. So yeah, it really damaged the cover. So this is really bad. Usually I don't buy that stuff, but again, when I bought it, I only see this cover. So little did I know that it was that bad on the back a little bit. And if I open it up for you, just to show you inside, see, that's what I mean. It looks horrible, but bear in mind that it was even worse. So I cleaned everything with alcohol on the back here to kill anything, any bacteria, whatever. So just to neutralize everything there. But yeah, right there is it's a bit better, but at the top it's not good. Even in the center it has like those little dots. But yeah, it's been neutralized, it's okay. Oh, by the way, it's the original clamshell. Also, I saved the tape itself. The cassette is clean, so there's always that. But yeah, the sleeve itself is kind of like the bad thing about it, right? It's not in top shape. Although it's in one piece, it's not missing like any corners or anything, or there's no rip in it. It's just that there, which is bad, yeah, let's face it. But it's a really rare tape, so nonetheless, I'm really happy to own it. And anyway, I'm gonna sell it, but I'll probably, of course, lower the price because of, you know, the state of the cover art. Okay, next one is nothing too special. It's called Spellcaster. It's a Charles Band production. I don't think he directed it, but it's from his production company. Although this one really nice because it's mint. Yeah, it is mint. No sun fade whatsoever. Top shape. Well, it's a mid-90s film. It's like 1994. So I mean, see, when you go up, of course you can get more decent looking tapes. But when you dip down below 1990, 1988, it's the ish, you know, period for tapes. Okay. Next, something else that I had in the past, but it's always in good demand for it, is The Thing, John Carpenter. This copy is pretty okay. Not top shape, but yeah, you have something here, but this is on the clamshell. It's just a plastic. The sleeve inside is fine. What else? Well, speaking of sleeve, maybe the only thing is this here. You know, it's been like kind of crushed because I had to change the clamshell, by the way. But otherwise, everything else with this copy is okay. Sorry for the focus. So everything else is fine. Yeah, there's no rip, there's nothing else. And yeah, the clamshell is a CIC clamshell, so a matching clamshell. And of course, if we look at the tape, it's kind of frosty, but yeah, it is near mint. There's no mold or nothing. Okay, 2 more tapes and we are done. So the next one, we have Faceless, which of course is a Jess Franco film. So this was a mid-80s film, I think, for what I remember, with Telly Savalas right here, right there. Yeah, so Faceless, Jess Franco, pretty hard to find if you ask me. The only thing, of course, it's not, you know, perfect mint, but it does have a bit of sun fade. You have the cool holographic Adu sticker on the spine, which is really nice. It comes in its original Adu clamshell, as you can see right here. And the tape is, of course, clean. So really happy to score this. I did have it in the past, I sold it, but the copy was pretty similar, to be honest. If you are wondering, yeah, the previous copy I had of this, similar shape, I mean similar sun fade on the spine, and the rest was kind of all around the same. But yeah, my second copy only, actually no, it's not true. I did find another one. It was moldy, so I had to trash the tape and the sleeve. I think I even trashed the case. It was that bad, but this one is fine. And we're done almost. We have the last tape for today, which is something else I showed you before. It's Chillers, so this horror film from the 80s. I did have it in the past, of course. The other copy was okay. This one is near mint with no sun fade on the spine, so this is like, wow, beautiful. I mean, just look at this. Here the white is like very bright white. We have the red, the blue. The colors are beautiful on the spine, and the same goes for the back and the front, of course. And yeah, no tear, no water damage, nothing. And of course it's on the DNS label, and it has the matching DNS clamshell for it. And of course right here the tape is in super good shape. Looks like there's something here, but it's just, yeah, it's just the plastic on the cover, but the tape is clean. All right, so yeah, I showed you this before. Yeah, so we have a second copy here, which will go for sale very soon. So okay, let me just gather everything like I do usually to have a better, you know, look at all the spines and all the stuff I have. Maybe they won't fit all in the frame, but let's try. Okay, yeah, they won't fit. Okay, yeah. So all this stuff I have, like maybe 12 more on the side, but let's fill the frame. Okay, so this is all I have for today. All I have for you today. Thank you guys. It's always a pleasure to see you watching my videos, and especially these days it's fun because the number of subscribers went up, surprisingly. I mean, it always goes up, of course, but it's always like one person a week or two persons per week. But these days it was like just a couple per day, and I was like, oh, that's nice. So I mean, we're getting there for the number of watching hours. I think I need to hit 4,000, and I'm at 3,600 something, so it's getting up there. I mean, it's always fun to hit a new goal, a new milestone. Anyway, if you have any comments, or if there's anything you want, you can send me a text, or just write down in the comments down below. Of course, I'm putting this stuff usually for sale on on Facebook, if you're wondering. And I do post the prices for everything. I don't just post the tape and, oh, give me your price. No, I do put a price so that everyone knows where it stands. Yeah, and also I do post the information about each tape. So let's say, for example, this is a Peruvian film. I'll put like, oh, it's from Peru. So I'll give like more extended information about the tape. And of course, for stuff like, I don't know, let's say the Kung Fu Zombie, of course I will say if it has English, if it's in Mandarin, if it's in Cantonese, so all these things, so that you know exactly what you're buying, of course. All right, so enough for today. See you on the next one. I have about another 30 tapes waiting. I'm still trying to finish cleaning up maybe about 10 more before I do another video, but since I'm posting this one, so the other one will be maybe in a few weeks from now, but it also has like a couple of really cool surprises. So stick around and stay healthy and have a great weekend, everyone. See you on the next video.